His reviews will get you further than the film will ever go. If you give him just a moment of your time, he'll let you know which movies rock, which movies stink, which movies shouldn't have been released. Say hello to Confused Matthew.
I'll say this as simply as I know how. Stardust is a semi-delightful film that captures the spirit of adventure, storytelling, and honestly and truly made me feel like a kid again. Kind of. Not great, but still good. This film is separated into two worlds, our own world and the world of Stormhold. These two worlds are separated by a simple brick wall in the middle of the town guarded by an old man with a cane. Sound weird? It is. But good weird. One day, a boy dodges the old man and crosses over into Stormhold. There he meets a young woman held prisoner by a witch. She is bound by a magical chain and can't be freed, so the boy says, well, if I can't free her, then we may as well get it on. After his rocking of the Casbah, he returns to his old world, but months later receives a souvenir from the captured woman. Wonder what it is. Maybe a flower or a Oh my fuck! Yep. The baby's name is Tristan, and the movie is basically his coming-of-age story. He was raised in England where he falls in love with a selfish ass of a woman. It seems the more she treats him like crap, the more he wants her, something I can personally relate to in my own experience with being a youth in love. Eventually, Tristan discovers that he is a child from Stormhold and is given a candle sent to him by his mother. On his ass of a love interest's birthday, a star falls from the sky and lands on the other side of the wall, so Tristan vows to cross the wall and retrieve the star for her. But here's where things get weird. On the other side of the walls, the Stormhold king is on his deathbed and must choose a male heir. To decide which of his sons will replace him, he tosses a ruby into the sky and decrees that whichever of his sons finds it will be the new king. Turns out this is actually what caused Tristan's star to fall in the first place because the gem he threw into the air collided with the star and they both fell together. But here's where things get weird. In Stormhold, the star appears in the form of a human girl. Tristan encounters her after lighting the candle his mother gave him, which turns out to be a Babylon candle. Once lit, it will immediately transport you to wherever you want to go. Tristan strikes a deal with the star, promising her that if she agrees to be presented to his ass of a girlfriend, he will use the Babylon candle to get her back to the sky. So little do they know that as these two embark on their own journey, they are also being hunted by the sons of the king, who are searching for the stone. But that's not all. 3 nearby witches also saw the star fall out of orbit and are searching for her as well. Apparently, if they cut out the star's heart, it will give them perpetual youth. And as the 3 are suffering from such a serious case of old, this is of great importance to them. The film walks a very fine line between original and generic. Some parts fascinated and delighted me, and others felt too trite and too much like other franchises I've enjoyed. I like the idea of another world being right across a simple wall in the middle of the road. It's so close, yet no one notices it. And the keeper of the wall could be very funny, but it's sometimes far too over the top. Tristan is your typical protagonist, and his journey doesn't allow for very many surprises. But he's likable enough, and Charlie Cox does an excellent job of playing a boy in the first place and a man at the end. For as good as his character was, though, I did not care for the star. I never felt like she had enough of a backstory or character definition to really get involved in caring about her outcome. She came off as being far too bland and generic. But the biggest A+ for me in the film was Michelle Pfeiffer as the witch. Everything she does in the film is just so damn witchy and genuinely intimidating, from turning people into animals to transforming the locales. The only thing missing was a traditional cackle on her part. The question of who was going to get to what first, and what they would do with it once they did, keeps the film moving even in the parts that seem to slow up. I found myself genuinely invested in all of these characters' journeys, apart from the star, and it almost made me want to see multiple branching endings to find out the outcome of what would have happened for all of them. The movie never spends too much time on one particular point or character, which keeps the pace very even. It's a lightweight movie, but an impressive soundtrack does a good job of propping it up. As a matter of fact, for being such a lightweight film, they certainly managed to cram a lot of big-name stars into the production. Robert De Niro? Really? The downsides to this film are few, but noticeable. As I've said, the character of the star isn't very interesting, but this also transfers over to being a problem with her being a love interest. I never felt that she and Tristan had any kind of chemistry. There are moments in the film, like the metaphor surrounding De Niro's character, that start out subtle, but end up being way too over the top for my taste. For the most part, this film is played camp, which makes taking it seriously a bit difficult at times. But for the most part, the film was charming and a delight. It also features one of the most original killings I've ever seen in a film. I can honestly say I have never seen anyone die in a manner quite like this. Stardust isn't going to make any top 10 lists, and I'm not likely to be watching it again anytime soon, but when I did watch it, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I would recommend this movie for the young and the young at heart. If you like pop fairy tales, give it a shot. Just don't expect the next Harry Potter or Narnia. The end.